One moment, Shedeur Sanders is a third-string quarterback stuck in Cleveland's never-ending quarterback carousel, barely getting reps, barely being seen. $80 million guaranteed. For a quarterback with limited NFL snaps. Let that sink in. That kind of number doesn't just break records, it shatters decades of tradition. Rookie QBs have historically been treated like lottery tickets. You scratch one off, you hope for a win, and if it doesn't hit, you move on. But the Raiders didn't just scratch the ticket. They bought the whole gas station.
If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed.
And here's the kicker. It wasn't the GM. It wasn't some scout pounding the table. This was Mark Davis himself. Owner, showman, architect of the team's Vegas rebirth, and apparently quarterback whisperer. Davis orchestrated the deal personally. No front office leaks. No drawn-out drama. Just a swift, silent, high-stakes negotiation behind closed doors. Executed with the kind of confidence usually reserved for playoff-bound juggernauts. And the result? A franchise reset in real time. Now let's talk about why this matters. Why the league is still picking its jaw up off the floor. Because Shedeur Sanders wasn't just a free agent. He was a symbol. A case study in how NFL teams evaluate talent. A warning about what happens when you sit on gold and pretend it's copper. A walking indictment of franchises that still cling to development as an excuse for indecision. And no one should be more embarrassed than the Cleveland Browns. Oh, Cleveland. You had him. You drafted him. You promoted him in press conferences. You teased his potential. And then? You did what Cleveland always seems to do. You froze. You kept him buried on the depth chart, playing it safe while your offense ran on fumes. You passed up trade offers. You ignored the noise. You thought you could hold on to talent without actually using it. And now, you've lost him. Publicly. Historically. And permanently. This isn't just a player walking out the door. It's a public referendum on your leadership, your decision-making, and your complete inability to recognize a franchise quarterback when he's standing right in front of you. Your fans are furious. Your front office is in shambles. And your locker room? Probably watching Shedeur highlights on their phones right now. Meanwhile in Vegas, the energy is nuclear. Because Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback you sign, he's a quarterback you build around. He's electric. Mobile. Sure. Composed. He has the arm, the mind, and maybe more importantly, the presence. This is a guy raised in the spotlight, trained by Coach Prime himself, and somehow still grounded enough to lead men twice his age. He walks into a room and it shifts. You can feel it. And now he walks into the AFC West. You thought it was just Mahomes and Herbert running the show? Guess again. Because this division now has 3 marquee quarterbacks. And they're all under 30. All elite in different ways. All gunning for legacy. Mahomes, Herbert, Sanders. That's not a quarterback battle. That's a theatrical event. And don't think the Raiders aren't going to milk this moment. You're going to see Shedeur on every billboard in Vegas. He's going to lead promos, anchor primetime games, spark debates, crash social media every time he scrambles for a first down. He's box office. Ticket sales? Through the roof. Merchandise? Selling out. Sponsors? Flooding the line. Because it's not just that Shedeur is talented. It's that Shedeur is marketable. He's next gen. He's media trained. He's camera ready. And more than anything, he's ready to prove something. Because don't get it twisted, he's still got a chip on his shoulder. You think he forgot the critics calling him overrated? Or the analysts who said he needed at least 2 more years of development? Or the fact that his own team kept him sidelined while washed-up veterans threw ducks downfield? Please, Shedeur has receipts. And now he's got a platform. But maybe the biggest impact of all? This move changed the game. Literally. Because now every young quarterback coming into the NFL is looking at this deal and saying, wait, I can do that too. And agents? Oh, they're already drawing up new contract demands. This just raised the floor for elite rookie QBs. The Raiders have redefined what it means to believe in your guy. It's not just about handing him the starting job anymore. It's about putting your money and your franchise on the line. Other teams? They're scrambling. Executives? Losing sleep. Salary cap specialists? Already sweating. Because the Shedeur deal just reset everything. And if you think this is the end of the story, you're not paying attention. Because this is just the beginning. There's going to be the debut game. The first touchdown pass. The first win. The first headline making, come from behind, down by 10 in the fourth, dagger to the end zone moment. And then, the revenge game. You know it's coming. Shedeur versus Cleveland. It's not just going to be a game. It's going to be a reckoning. Every pass will be a statement. Every drive will be dripping in poetic justice. And when he walks off that field victorious, the final nail will be hammered into the Browns' front office credibility. You don't get to fumble a generational talent like this and walk away unscathed. The league has changed. And the name on the marquee? Shedeur Sanders. So what do you think? Did the Raiders just make the boldest, most genius move in recent NFL history? Or did they set a precedent that's going to change how quarterbacks are valued forever? Drop your take in the comments and let's talk about it. And if you live for the drama, the deals, the game-changing chaos that makes football the greatest show on earth, smash that subscribe button. Because this isn't just a headline. It's a whole era. And it just began. This wasn't just the most expensive quarterback deal for a rookie in league history. This was a cultural earthquake. Let's start with the timing. This didn't happen during the off-season, when the sports world is half watching golf and pretending to care about minicamp clips. No, this went down mid-season. Right as playoff races are heating up. Right as teams are fighting for identity, momentum, survival. And boom, Shedeur Sanders walks into the middle of all of it like he owns the room. Because now, he kind of does. This isn't just about dollars. This is about direction. The Raiders didn't just buy a quarterback. They announced to the entire league, we're not waiting. We're not rebuilding. We're not crossing our fingers for next year. We're ready. Now. And every single team in the AFC West just flinched. Because suddenly, the Raiders are no longer the easy win on the calendar. No longer the, oh, we'll catch our breath in Vegas before going to Arrowhead. That's over. Because Shedeur changes the math. And here's where it gets extra spicy. He doesn't just change it on the field. He changes it everywhere. Let's talk recruiting. College players? Watching. High school 5 stars? Definitely watching. They're seeing a guy who made his name at Jackson State, leveled up at Colorado, and now just became the face of an NFL franchise without ever being developed in the traditional sense. Translation? You don't have to play the game the old way anymore. You don't need to wait 4 years, kiss the ring of some archaic coaching system, or pretend like you're just happy to be here. You can move how Shedeur moves. You can walk into the league with confidence, culture, and expectations, and force teams to match your energy. That's power. That's progress. That's player empowerment 2.0. And the NFL? It's not ready. You can feel the fear in the front offices. GMs and owners are having emergency meetings right now, wondering how many Shedeurs are coming down the pipeline. How many Coach Prime disciples are about to storm the gates and say, if you want me, show me now. This is bigger than Vegas. This is bigger than Cleveland's collapse. This is paradigm shift stuff. And what makes it even more terrifying for the league? Shedeur's not cocky about it. He's calm, collected, professional, deadly. Because that's the thing, he doesn't need to say anything wild. His very presence is loud enough. The clean footwork, the perfect spirals, the leadership in the huddle, the composure under pressure. This is a guy who was built for this moment, who's been trained for this moment, who knew this moment was coming long before we did. And now that it's here, he's not flinching. Let's revisit Cleveland for a second. Not because they deserve it, but because we need to understand just how catastrophic this is for them. It's one thing to lose a great player. It's another to lose a great player because of your own indecision. Cleveland had every chance to get this right. They could have built around him. They could have leaned into the youth movement. They could have at least traded him earlier and gotten a massive return. But they did none of those things. They did what bad franchises always do. They waited, and waited, and waited, until Shedeur decided he was done waiting. Now they're left holding an empty locker and an entire city asking one question. What were we thinking? And there's no good answer. No GM soundbite. No coaches we believe in the room nonsense. No PR spin can fix this. Because when you lose the future, you don't get it back. And now Cleveland is going to spend the next 5 years watching highlight reels of the quarterback they let walk, while trying to convince fans that the process is working. Meanwhile, Shedeur is out in Vegas lighting up defenses, winning shootouts against Mahomes and Herbert and proving that belief, real belief, changes everything. Let's fast forward. Picture it, Shedeur in his first full season. The Raiders' offense humming. The playbook wide open. Fans screaming in Allegiant Stadium as he throws a back-shoulder dime to win a division game in the final seconds. It's not just a win. It's a moment. And suddenly, he's not just the guy in Vegas, he's the guy in the league. He's doing primetime interviews. Magazine covers. MVP conversations. Talk shows debating, is Shedeur already top 5? And don't roll your eyes, because if he delivers, the hype train's not just leaving the station, it's breaking the speed limit. You can already hear the media storm building. The storylines write themselves. The kid who wasn't supposed to start, now dominating the league. From bench to bank, how Shedeur Sanders rewrote NFL history. Coach Prime's legacy comes to life in Vegas. And let's not forget the eventual matchup that everyone will be circling on the calendar. Raiders versus Browns. Imagine the build-up, the tension, the sheer poetic absurdity. Shedeur, in black and silver, walking into a stadium full of people who once ignored him. A Browns team scrambling to stop the quarterback they once had in their hands. Every throw a statement. Every touchdown a reality check. That won't be a game. That'll be a movie. And when the final whistle blows, no matter what the score is, the narrative will be written in stone. Vegas believed. Cleveland hesitated. So now the NFL has a new poster child. A new prototype. A new playbook on how to invest in your future. Not with words but with money, trust, and opportunity. Shedeur Sanders didn't wait to be chosen. He chose himself. He found a franchise bold enough to see it. And now, the league has to deal with the fallout. This isn't just a signing. It's a signal. To young players, know your worth. To franchises, act fast or get left behind. To fans, strap in, this ride is just beginning. You don't throw $80 million guaranteed at a quarterback and hope he just manages the game. You throw that money down when you believe, know when you know, that you're holding the future in your hands. But now the pressure's on. All eyes are on Vegas. And that spotlight? It's not always kind. That first snap Shedeur takes? Is going to be analyzed by 1,000 talking heads. His first interception? Front page of every sports blog. The first time he gets sacked? Can he handle NFL pressure? Will be trending by noon. But here's the thing. Shedeur knows all of that. He's not some wide-eyed rookie hoping to find his rhythm. He's been bred for this. Mentored for this. Thrown into the fire at Colorado under national scrutiny every single week. He knows what it's like to be doubted, hyped, judged, and picked apart before he's even stepped on the field. And still, he owns it. Because while everyone else is asking, is Shedeur ready for the league? He's asking, is the league ready for me? And based on how things are moving, the answer is increasingly obvious, not even close. Let's talk about the Raiders' locker room now because that dynamic? It's about to get real interesting. A roster that's been through coaching shakeups, roster churn, and QB uncertainty for years now has a definitive face. And make no mistake, Shedeur isn't just another new guy trying to blend in. He's walking in with an $80 million contract, a tidal wave of hype, and a city already backing him like he's royalty. You don't blend in when you're the guy on every billboard within a 10-mile radius of the strip. So what happens to the veterans? The guys who've been grinding, waiting for stability? The players who've seen QBs come and go like blackjack dealers on the hour? Simple. They fall in line. Because football is a leadership sport. And Shedeur's already a leader, whether he's taken a snap for Vegas or not. And here's the difference between him and so many others who've come before. He's not faking it. This isn't rah-rah energy. This isn't forced locker room speeches or team bonding TikToks. This is real, earned respect. Watch how quickly teammates start backing him in interviews. Watch how fast receivers start saying, there's just something different about him. Watch how the defense, even the crusty veterans, start turning into his personal hype squad by week 3. That's what happens when a real QB1 walks into the room. And Shedeur? He's that guy. Now, take that energy and stack it against what the rest of the AFC West is going on. You've got Patrick Mahomes, the undisputed king. A magician with a Super Bowl ring and highlight reels for days. You've got Justin Herbert, the laser-armed surgeon with more tools than a Swiss Army knife, just waiting for a postseason run to match his stat sheet. And now, you've got Shedeur the disruptor. The outsider turned icon. The one who wasn't supposed to be here, who just cashed in bigger than anyone saw coming. It's not just a quarterback division anymore. It's a quarterback war zone. And what does that mean for us? It means every AFC West matchup is a clash of styles. It means Monday Night Football is must-see TV. It means you better DVR every single Raiders game, because something is going to happen. Maybe it's a 70-yard bomb. Maybe it's a comeback win in overtime. Maybe it's just Shedeur standing at the podium after a win, calm, confident, letting his entire demeanor say, I told you so. Either way, the drama is guaranteed. But let's zoom even further out. This deal didn't just shift the NFL landscape, It blew a hole in the wall separating old-school football thinking from the new era. For decades, NFL teams operated under the belief that rookies needed to wait. That quarterbacks had to sit behind aging veterans until the time was right. That you needed to earn belief before you got the bag. That mindset? The Shedeur Sanders deal killed it. And now, every elite college QB is watching. Every five-star recruit, every transfer portal darling, every kid being courted by SEC and Big Ten powerhouses, they're all looking at Shedeur and saying, that's the model now. Play early. Build your brand. Control your narrative. And when the league comes calling, name your price. Because Shedeur didn't beg for that $80 million. He didn't wait his turn. He forced the issue. He proved his value off the field and backed it up on it. He turned potential into leverage, and leverage into history. This is what happens when the sport finally bends to the athlete's power. And there's no going back. Let's bring it home now. Because there's still one storyline we haven't fully unpacked. The rematch. You know the one. Raiders, Browns. The team that let Shedeur rot on the bench versus the team that paid him generational wealth. That game? That's not a matchup. It's not a date on the calendar. It's a reckoning. Shedeur walks into that game not as a former player, but as a storm. And Cleveland? They walk in carrying nothing but regrets. And here's the scary part. Win or lose, Shedeur will own that moment. If he throws 3 touchdowns? Headlines. If he throws a pick and still wins? Legend status. If he loses but balls out? You already know what the narrative is going to be. Imagine if Cleveland had actually given him a chance. So here we are. The NFL isn't just evolving, it's transforming. The quarterback position isn't just important, it's empowered. And the future? It's got a name. Shedeur Sanders. He's not the next Mahomes. He's not the next Lamar. He's not the next anyone. He's the first Shedeur. And the league? Better adjust fast. This is no longer a story about football. It's about the collapse of old systems. It's about a quarterback who refused to be another cautionary tale and instead became a franchise's resurrection arc. It's about one team boldly stepping into the future, and another one still stuck staring at a whiteboard full of failed quarterback plans. So let's talk about the legacy this sets in motion. Because this deal doesn't just impact one season. It doesn't just shake up 2025. This is going to ripple through every draft class, every rookie negotiation, every coaching decision for years. Why? Because Shedeur Sanders just broke the illusion. For decades, the NFL ran on a lie, a pretty little myth that said, you have to earn it first. You have to wait. Sit behind a vet. Learn the ropes. Pay your dues. Translation? Be patient. Be quiet. Let the system shape you. But now, that's gone. Shedeur didn't wait. He walked into the league and demanded what he was worth. Not with ego but with evidence. With performance. With presence. He didn't say, let me prove it. He said, you already know I'm worth it. Pay me accordingly. And the Raiders? They listened. That's the kind of move that burns old playbooks to the ground. Let's get into the business side for a second because that's where this gets really spicy. Every NFL owner just saw the Shedeur deal, and whether they admit it or not, they're shook. Not just because of the size of the contract, but because of what it represents. Player leverage on arrival. Brand value as part of football value. Cultural capital mattering as much as passing charts. Let's be real. Shedeur didn't just get paid because he can sling the rock. He got paid because he's the total package. Media trained, confident, wildly talented, and built for the modern NFL where image is power. He's not just a QB. He's a movement. A logo. A storyline. He's what the NFL craves. Narrative plus numbers. And now that Vegas has that, they've got the blueprint. And every other franchise? They better learn fast. Because Gen Z athletes aren't playing the same game as the last generation. They're not waiting for their name to be called. They're building their own platforms, showing their own highlights, controlling their own brand image before they ever touch the league. Shedeur just cashed in on that evolution. And the Raiders were smart enough to say yes before someone else did. Now let's return to the field because we know this deal only means something if he delivers. And that's the part that almost feels unfair for the rest of the league. Because this kid? He's ready. Forget the rookie growing pains talk. Shedeur has already played in front of national audiences against top-tier competition with insane pressure and, oh yeah, while being the son of one of the most famous players to ever touch a football. Pressure doesn't break Shedeur. It feeds him. And now with the Raiders? He's got a clean slate. He's got weapons. He's got a city hungry for a hero. And most importantly, he's got belief behind him. Not empty words. Not "we're excited about his potential." We're talking about $80 million worth of belief. That's not a development plan. That's a declaration. But of course, there's always that one question lurking beneath all of this. What if it doesn't work? What if the pressure becomes too much? What if the growing pains do show up? What if the arm isn't ready? What if Vegas bet the farm on hope and headlines? That's the risk. But here's the thing. Progress is risky. Revolution always comes with growing pains. And even if it takes time for Shedeur to fully lock in, what the Raiders have already proven is this. They are done waiting for greatness to fall into their lap. They're done being a punchline. Done being a layup in the AFC West. Done watching other teams dominate headlines. They're writing their own story now. One that begins with, once upon a time, Vegas paid the price, and finally got their franchise quarterback. Whether it ends with a Lombardi or not, that chapter 1 already changed the league. And honestly, that might be the most powerful part of all of this. Because for every young quarterback watching, every freshman QB at a Power 5 school, every dual-threat high school kid getting ignored by recruiters, this isn't just a contract. It's permission. Permission to think bigger. To demand better. To take your career into your own hands and say, I'm not waiting to be discovered, I'm showing you right now. Shedeur didn't ask for approval. He walked into the building, set the standard, and cashed the check. And now, the game will never be the same. Let's close with this. The Browns lost the player. But the NFL? It gained a moment. A turning point. A clear message sent from the silver and black, wrapped in confidence and inked in gold. We believe in the future, and we'll pay for it. And as Shedeur steps onto that field, as the cameras zoom in on the visor, the wristband, the number 2 stitched into his jersey, the whole world will be watching. And they won't be asking if he's ready. They'll be asking, how soon until he takes over everything? So what do you think? Did Vegas just build a new empire around Shedeur Sanders, or did they gamble too big too fast? Drop your hottest take in the comments and let the chaos begin. And if you're here for more stories that shake up the sports world, subscribe now, because this NFL season, it's no longer about who wins the most games. It's about who dares to change the game itself.